What we're doing is we are going to inject his scalp with the PRP. The PRP is
What's up guys, Derek, moreplates.com. Today we're going to be talking about Bradley Martyn's recent video he put up where he went to a wellness clinic to get PRP injections done.
What we're doing is we are going to inject his scalp with the PRP. The PRP is short for platelet-rich plasma. What this stuff has are growth factors within the platelet. When I inject the area, we're gonna mow the lawn with his head and inject small amounts to help replenish the hair follicles.
What if you did it into my bicep? Would it make my bicep bigger?
It probably would.
A lot of people have asked me, does PRP do anything? Is this going to regrow his hair? What do I think about it in general? So just to really get this out of the way off the bat, PRP does next to nothing. It's like a mild growth agonist at best, and it does absolutely nothing to prevent the acceleration of androgenic alopecia. So if you have miniaturization of hair follicles occurring via androgen receptor activation transcription, you're not going to prevent that by injecting, growth factors into your scalp. You may be able to induce some mild level of regrowth, but if you have, severely miniaturized hair follicles like Bradley Martyn does, the amount of miniaturization that's accumulated over the years, any kind of modest regrowth effect you get out of it is going to be so negligible that it won't even be noticeable, because he's just, let it get to such a point that there's like no way back unless he goes on an aggressive anti-androgen routine, in my opinion. Like a very, very aggressive protocol, and PRP is what I would consider one of the least aggressive treatments there are. So, and even as far as growth agonists go, I already mentioned how it has nothing to do with preventing, androgenic alopecia in the first place. There's, combating androgens, DHT and testosterone from binding to AR. That's one thing in itself, but just providing, growth factors locally, that does nothing to, if you're injecting a bunch of testosterone, or if you even just have your natural endogenous testosterone, you're doing absolutely nothing to protect yourself from that 5-alpha reduction to DHT or the testosterone itself. So in that regard, it's another thing that I don't like about PRP. It's like the most overpriced thing ever for what it does. I don't know why people even have it offered, to be honest. No one gets their money's worth out of it. It's the most overpriced treatment that you can do. And what a lot of people don't know is you can actually do PRP at home. So while it is kind of sketchy sounding, it's not very hard to buy a centrifuge online. They're actually very cheap. You would think this is like a $20,000 machine or something. That's basically the thing that spins the blood samples and separates the plasma, the PRP, from the blood itself. And then the plasma gets, sucked up and gets injected back into the scalp, the platelet-rich plasma. That you can do at home. You can buy one of these centrifuges online. If you have your blood, you could, put it in the thing and spin it yourself. I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying the price of a centrifuge is literally less than the cost of one of these treatments by going into a clinic to do it. So it's extremely overpriced. And one of the benefits, I do see PRP as a benefit for actual injuries. So there's, huge potential in it, but it's just still such an overpriced treatment for something you could be doing at home if you just, did a bit of research into how to do it, because there are guides, I'm not going to get into it, but it's something that is heavily marked up. You're basically paying somebody to take your blood out, which isn't rocket science, although it seems sketchy. And I don't recommend doing it. I'm just saying, somebody takes it out, they put it in the centrifuge, they spin it to separate it, they draw it up, and they pin it back in very shallow. And then for injuries, they just, stick it into the injury site and inject it. There's no crazy, stem cells coming from some other person that you're getting. There's no extraction of some crazy thing. It's literally just blood being separated from plasma. That's it. And then put back into some localized area for some sort of regenerative effect. He's going to be disappointed with the outcome, obviously, but I think it was more so just an opportunity for him to plug what is likely going to be a sponsor for him in the future, is what I think. I don't think he really cares if this is going to work or not, or what it does, but it gives them kind of an excuse to kind of say, I'm working with this company, and or I wanted to go in and do this thing, and you should check them out too, kind of thing. Bradley has evidently shown in the past that he's a bit, I would say he's a bit on the fence of his ethics in terms of marketing stuff to his audience. In the past, I saw he did one of those stupid things where it's like, text me and here's my phone number.
The reason why I'm doing this, I'm giving you guys my number, is because over the years I've done everything I can in order to be able to like get close to you guys, to like build a doper relationship with you guys. And it's hard because obviously there's so many of you guys. I have all my notifications turned off. I have like everything turned off on, like I don't get notifications on Snapchat. I have to go in to like these you know, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter to like see the notifications, versus this new platform is a way for me to basically get your text messages in there. They stay on the phone. So it's not like I have to go and like look at the app to see if I have notifications from you guys. It's just like literally, it's just like a text message. So go text me, sign up, and I will reply to you as soon as I can.
He puts it out there like it's implying that he's going to like actually be receiving the text and reading them and like responding to some sort of personalized thing. Like it's so fucking obvious that these like all these marketing things with here's my number, like, you know, text me. It's so obvious you're just being put on like the more modern version of a mailing list and then getting hit with advertisements for whatever you're selling. Like this guy's not actually going to go out of his way to text you, and it would be dumb to even expect him to anyways. The guy has millions of followers. Anyone expecting him to like go out of his way to text you was dumb, but at the same time, him as a influencer shouldn't be giving out his phone number and like making it sound like, oh, hey guys, like here's my phone number because, you know, I'm so connected to you guys and I just want to give back to you guys and be able to, you know, get in touch with you guys more. So like, you know, I thought of this sick idea to like give you my number. It's like, fuck you, dude. Like we obviously know what it's for. So that's the thing I saw recently I wasn't a big fan of. I was considering doing a separate video on it, but I sort of just flew into a rant now, so I might as well just put it in here. Regardless of PRP being like the most overpriced, useless treatment in my opinion, wellness clinics in general are, you know, not useless. They are, you know, quite useful, especially for, you know, guys who, there's such a narrow range for clinically, you know, deficient males for testosterone because they use, you know, the sample size for men that they determine, you know, a healthy reference range for men for testosterone is so ridiculously variable and, you know, general. Like you could literally have healthy levels for like a fucking 120-year-old and they're going to tell you you're not deficient because you don't literally, you know, feel like killing yourself yet with like a 200 nanogram per deciliter total testosterone level. And they don't even look at the other stuff. Like there's like standard doctor is going to look at your free T. None of them are going to look at your SHBG, your sensitive assay estradiol, nor are they even going to look at your testosterone with a proper assay to begin with, like liquid chromatography with tandem mass spectrometry. They're going to order the standard default shitty method that doesn't even measure your testosterone properly. So like at the end of the day, having a more lenient or like liberal doctor that works through these wellness clinics is good to have if you are somebody who is you know, seeking hormone replacement therapy, because it can actually be quite difficult to get a, you know, like straight edge doctor to just, you know, like actually assess you properly. So in that regard, these clinics I think are actually a really good thing. On the other hand, I often talk about how they are also, you know, often used as loopholes to essentially prescribe guys mini cycles that aren't actually clinically deficient. And I don't care, to be honest. Like, I'm not frowning on that. That's just the fact of what it is. So like him getting behind this company, it kind of makes sense to me. Like he's friends with Dan Bilzerian, Vitaly. Dan Bilzerian, I've covered his, you know, steroid cycle, which is just his hormone replacement therapy protocol in the past, which is, you know, very, very similar to Vitaly's. And Vitaly, I just did a video on him too, where he basically comes out, says he has the best doctor ever, and he has, you know, like clinically prescribed HGH and testosterone. And then Bradley Martyn is, you know, coming out and is sponsored by or appears to be sponsored by some wellness clinic. I wouldn't be surprised if it's, you know, the same wellness clinic they all get their stuff from. But, you know, obviously the likelihood that Vitaly or Bradley or whatever are like actually like have, you know, clinically deficient testosterone levels, not as a result of, you know, anabolic steroid abuse, and they could just, you know, come off and probably PCT and be fine. Obviously they're basically getting, you know, prescribed, like, I'm not even going to delve into it because it's like, it's nothing that I frown upon. It's just, I'm just stating how it works. But that's where I think the interest on his end probably comes in more so to work with this company, not because they offer like PRP and stuff like that. It's probably more so because they're willing to, you know, prescribe a very, like, obviously a actual legitimate prescription for probably the exact same thing he'd be using anyways through a UGL. So, but now it would be legal, and he could travel wherever he wants with it. He could bring his GH, his testosterone with him if he wanted to, perhaps even nandrolone if his doctor was like that liberal, because some are. So just probably getting the Cialis too, like Dan and Vitaly. I wouldn't be surprised if they're using the exact same protocol, except Vitaly and Brad are probably on the higher end because they're younger and they haven't had a history of heart attacks like Dan. So Dan's probably on the very conservative side. That's why he has, I would say a very reasonable, not reasonable, but a very conservative hormone replacement therapy protocol that's more realistic for somebody who's actually trying to stay in the, clinically therapeutic range. Whereas Vitaly and Brad are probably, getting something like 300 milligrams of testosterone prescribed, 200 to 300 with an IU of GH, Cialis, maybe even some nandrolone on the side. Who knows? But that's where I think the interest on his end comes in. This has got super off track. It was supposed to be this video was supposed to be a PRP, and I ended up talking about all this. But anyways, PRP sucks. Don't waste your money on it is my advice. And if you do it, I think it's more advantageous in like an injury, like recovery context rather than hair growth context. Because in a hair growth context, the efficacy is very poor in my opinion. So take from that what you will. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe. Check out my blog, moreplates.com. Follow me on Instagram at moreplates_moredates, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, BitChute, Apple Podcasts, wherever I am. I highly recommend you sign up to the newsletter. First link in the description below as well, because anytime I put out a article, it's far more elaborate than my videos, and it's broken down into concise subsections with a table of content, all of the clinical studies I reference, and all the data is linked for you on the side for you to delve into further yourself if you want to, rather than me rambling. Anything and everything I discuss, it's just like perfectly and neatly laid out for you to click on yourself and delve into further. So thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.